My childhood dream was to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be, I don't know, everything. But right now, I'm a business student pursuing my MBA. What went wrong? Did I dream wrongly? Or was it a fantasy? Was it a dream? Or it was something different? My name is Sarah Nambozo, and today we're going to share the presentation of Mr. Brandy about achieving your childhood dream. First and foremost, I want to credit this gentleman because this was not my first presentation. I've watched several presentations, but this is my best presentation. I love it because first and foremost, I'll talk about the introduction. Unlike other introductions that I've been watching, this had a unique component in it that first and foremost, he started with what he's not going to talk about. I love that because it created anticipation, it aroused the expectations of the audience, because if someone comes in and is like, we're not talking about this, I'm not here to discuss this, I'm not here to discuss this, definitely you, in your mind, you start imagining what exactly he's going to discuss, meaning your focus, your attention is directed towards exactly what this person is going to present. So I loved that component of his introduction. Then he did not stop at that. He also came back and defined the objective of his presentation. And unlike the theme, achieving your childhood dream, he went ahead and started by sharing his childhood dreams. Some were fantasies, some were like mine, because I remember the gravity, the dream to fly. It was awesome, it was crazy, but yes, it was real. So the conclusion, the way he concluded his presentation was awesome because everybody felt like they're in a reality show. Actually, I personally felt like I was part of his journey, his life, his memory, because everything was reality. Like, it was more than a presentation. Overall, it was awesome because the evidence was real, the photos, I don't know, I wonder how he kept all these memories and how he presented all this information, because oftentimes when you have a lot to offer to the people, you end up maybe distorting it or confusing the information or crowding the information. But this did not happen with Mr. Brandy. Mr. Brandy had a lot to put up because he shared his lifetime with us in just less than 2 hours, because he took us through his journey as a child till his journey to where he was now. But all through, we shared with him the photos, the memories, his parents, his family, his team members. There was drama, there was the movie, he was showing everything. But despite all that, he did not lose focus. He still stayed on point. He was well composed and he knew exactly what he wanted to deliver. And just as he had promised in the introduction, he definitely delivered it, and the message was clearly passed on to us. He used a lot of symbols, objects, signs, but like I said, this did not distort the information because we followed. It was like a reality show. I felt like I'm watching the Oprah Winfrey show because this was more than a presentation. He was looking simple in the side. I was like, okay, what do we have? But his presentation went beyond my expectations. So about maybe the emphasis of this presentation was mainly, I'll break it down at the introduction and the conclusion. At the introduction, his emphasis was mainly on what lessons are we going to learn? Like, he emphasized what lessons we're picking from each and everything that he was sharing with us about his dreams. What are we learning from them? About his experiences, his employment journey, his when if his story, what lessons were we learning from it? So basically, how can you achieve your dreams? How can you help one to achieve their dreams? Like, if you're a parent, how can you help your child develop their dreams? I mean, here he talked about how you should let them paint their houses if they really want to do it. Like, it inspires them because it's what they want. So that was the main emphasis. It was related to that. And at the conclusion, definitely he gave good remarks which stuck in my head. Like, be prepared. Oh God, I was like, okay, preparation leads to opportunity meets preparation. If you're not prepared, the opportunity will pass you. So work hard. The different points that he was raising, but definitely overall he explained everything so well. His presentation was elaborate, was well defined, and everything was illustrated. Oh my God, you need to watch this if you have not watched it. You do not have to just stop at what I'm explaining to you, because you're missing out. The supporting facts are real. This is a presentation that you will not ask questions of how did this happen, is it true, is it lie, because he had evidence, he had facts. So he created the trust. We knew this is, and he shared everything. Like, oftentimes people will only share the good side of the imaginations of their dreams, and they will not tell us how they went wrong, how they dreamt wrongly, how they got sacked from a football team, how they did not achieve a certain dream. They'll give us the best picture, but this is not what Mr. Brandy did. Mr. Brandy gave us the entire package, where you're inspired because you compare your life with him. You know that this guy also at one point everything wasn't smooth, because that is the real life. Real life, nothing is as perfect as 100%. You fall, you have to rise. So if a person is presenting and they're giving you the 100% efficiency of their dreams and how they achieve them, you'll not relate, because you're like, okay, maybe they were bright from the start. How about me, who is not? But he gave us these versions where he was sacked from his job, he was judged as a failure, he was referred to as anything, I don't know, an insect. So it was awesome, because you can easily relate with him, you can easily compare your life and your journey with him, and it can help you improve where you need to. And this was real. Like, I loved it. Then he focused more on the audience benefits. It was not about him. Much as he was sharing with us his story, in the break of it, he had to point out exactly what he needs us to learn from it. How can we use his experience to better our dreams, or to better the way of achieving our dreams, or to guide others. So his focus was mainly on how are we benefiting, how is this audience benefiting, and this is exactly what had brought us. So by watching this movie, I benefited because he achieved that. If he really intended for me to benefit from it, I definitely salute him for that, because I benefited a whole lot from his presentation. Then I loved the enthusiasm. Oh my God, his body, his passion, it was all showing in his eyes, it was all showing in his body language, the non-verbal communication, the facial expression, everything was just communicating. By looking at him, you will just flow with everything that he was telling us. He was in control. He was managing his he was managing us. Actually, he had us. We were like, we're in a flight and the pilot is driving and there is no way out, so we just had to be comfortable and be like, okay sir, we're here. So the enthusiasm was exactly beyond expectation. The body language, like I said, was well composed. He managed the stage space, like he owned it. It's not like he was compressed in one corner, and it was not like he collided with anybody. No, he managed his movement. He was well composed and his mannerism was on point. So in a recap, definitely I would like to credit him. May his soul rest in peace. But this presentation will go on and it will improve many lives, and it has improved mine. Much as now I'm not in the childhood dream, but how can I rewind my dreams to match them in what I have now? If my dream was maybe to be if my dream okay, let me leave that at that. So basically I also want to comment a few words on Miss Cheryl's video about getting or finding your rocket ship. So I wished that I had watched this video before watching Mr. Brandy's video, because definitely her presentation was very good. It was extraordinary. She was well composed. The grammar was on point. Everything was okay. But after watching Mr. Brandy's video, the expectation was risen. Everything was, so the body, the introduction of Miss Cheryl was good. It was detailed. It was elaborate. I loved the initial of how she expressed herself, and yeah, that was good. But what was lacking was, now I was in the mood of the images, objects and everything, but this was not in her video and her presentation. And I think that for all the presenters out there, we should be more creative. We should adapt to Mr. Brandy's way of presenting. We can't all do that at the same time, but for this I think we need to adapt to it. Thank you very much, Sarah Nambos.